Hello everyone, welcome to Unix Programming Module 2 Lecture Series 5. So here in this lecture we are going to learn shell programming. So in the previous lecture series, so you learned a basic concept of shell and basic commands. So now here we are going to learn how to write a shell programming. So in this we are going to learn the variables in a shell scripting. So here there are different types of variables are available. So using them you can write a shell script. Next is a read command that makes a script interactive, and you are going to learn command line arguments, how to read all the arguments from command line. And then next you are going to learn exit and exit status of a command. Okay, so now let us discuss about shell scripting. So shell scripting is an open source computer program designed to be run by the Unix or the Linux shell. All the Unix commands may also be executed non-interactively in the form of a shell script. Shell scripting is a program to write a series of commands for the shell to execute. So here we can execute more than one command by writing a shell script. So we can use more than one command in a script. So it can combine a lengthy and repetitive sequence of commands into a single. So if you want to execute a single command, so that is a lengthy process. Okay, and that is a repetitive. If you want to execute a command, so you need to execute one by one. So it is a repetitive. You are repeating that all the commands again and again. Okay, so instead of that, write a shell script and execute more than one command at a time. So which reduces the programming effort. Okay, so next topic is the variables in shell scripting. Okay, so what is a variable? A variable in a shell script is a referencing a numeric or character value. Okay, so that is just a reference variable, so which reference numeric and the character value, so in a Unix system. Okay, so here in a shell scripting no need to declare a type, okay, like a int, char, float, okay, double for the variables. So here in Unix system there are two types of variables are available. First one is system defined variables, second user defined variables. Okay, so now let us discuss about system defined variables. These are the variables which are created and maintained by the operating system. Okay, so these variables are defined and implemented and maintained by the operating system, and all these variables are defined in capital letters. So you can see these variables by using the command set. So if you want to see all the system defined variables, you can use the command set. Some of the system defined variables are given below. Okay, so now these are the system defined variables and their meaning. Okay, all the system defined variables are so stored in the form of name equal to value. Okay, that is variable name equal to and its value. Okay, for example here bash is the variable name, okay, and slash bin slash bash is the value for that variable. So it means that all the system defined variables will be in the form name equal to value. Okay, so next one is the next variable home, that is the home directory of the user, login name and the value for that, and pwd and the value, and shell and its value, and the username and value for that username. Okay, so these are the system defined variables. So if you want to print the value of the variables, so you need to use the command echo. So using echo command you can print all the system defined so variables value. An example here, echo $home. So you will get the value for that variable home equal to /home/Sudhir. Next one, echo $username. You will get the value for the username. that is username equal to Sudhir. So next one is user defined variables. These variables are defined by the users or by the programmers. A shell script allows user to set and use their own variables within the script. Based on their requirement, a user or programmer can define their own variables. Setting variables allows the users temporarily store the data. So all the user defined variables are temporarily storing the data and making the shell script more like a real computer program. Okay, so now all the user variables may be letters, digits, or an underscore character. So here in the Unix system, the user variables are case sensitive. For example, here the variable, so capital E var1 is a different from the variable small v, that is var1. Okay, both are different. So here all the user defined variables will be case sensitive. Okay, so values are assigned to user variables using an equal sign. So you are assigning a value to the user defined variable using the operator, that is equal sign, and there is no space is required. No space can appear between the variable, the equal sign, and the value. Some examples are var1 equal to 10, var2 equal to minus 57, var3 equal to testing, and var4 equal to, so in the double quote, that is still more testing. So these are the some user defined variables. The shell script automatically determines the data type used for the variable value. So that's what, so here no need to use the data type for all the variables. The Unix system only automatically determines the data type based on the variable defined by the user or the programmer. Variable defined within the shell script maintain their values throughout the life of the shell, but are deleted when the shell script completes. So the value of the variable will be throughout the shell script and deleted when the program completes its task and removed from the file system. Okay, so now let us discuss how to write a shell script in a Unix. So you can use any different text editor like a gedit, vi. So using that you can start writing a shell script in a Unix. Now let us understand the steps in the creating shell script. Okay, let us discuss about different steps. First one, create a file using editor. So you can use any editor like a vi or gedit. So after creating a file, you need to give the name with the extension .sh. Start the script with a shebang, so which contain hash not /bin/sh. It is called as a shebang. So this is the first line in a shell script. So like in a C program, okay, that is a hash include stdio.h. So here in a shell script, that is hash not /bin/sh is the first line. So after that, so start writing some code. So after writing a code, save the script with the file name and the extension .sh. So if you want to execute the script, so you need to use that, so the bash or sh command and the file name and the extension. So here the hash not is an operator called shebang which directs the script to the interpreter location. So using that, so it directs to the interpreter directly. Okay, so now let us create a small script. So using that all the steps you learnt. The first line, that is a shebang, which contain the characters like hash, not, slash bin, slash sh. Next is this is the comment line. So if you use that hash and the statement, then that is a comment line that is ignored while compiling and running. Next statement, I want to print date. So using the echo command and a message, that is today's date. Next I want to print the calendar using a command cal, and I am printing a shell, that is a shell name, using a command echo. So after writing a shell script, so if you want to run the script, so first you need to change the permission. Okay, so initially the shell script doesn't contain that so execute permission. Okay, so for that you need to change the permission by giving the execute permission to the file, that is a script. Okay, using the command chmod +x and the file name .sh, and then run the script. So after that you will get the output. Next topic, read. So which makes that so the program very interactive to read all the so command line statements. The read statement is the shell's internal tool for making a script more interactive, that is by taking input from the user. By calling the read, so you can read the input from the user. It is used with one or more variables. Inputs supplied with the standard input are read into these variables. So the syntax for that, read and the variable name. So which causes the script to pause at that point to take input from the keyboard. So whatever the input is entered by the user will be stored in the variable name. So when you use that statement read and the file name, the script will be paused to take the input from the user. Okay, and that input will be stored in the variable name. So one example to write a shell script. So here in this example I am going to search a pattern from the file name which is given in the terminal. The first line in the shell script, shebang hash not slash bin slash sh. Next I am printing one message using a command echo. Enter the pattern to be searched. Next statement, read p name. So here I am trying to read the pattern name by using the command read. Next statement, echo, enter the file to be used. I am printing a message, that is enter the file to be used. Next statement, read file name. So here I am reading the file name from the terminal. So next I am printing our message, searching for the pattern $p name from the file $f name. Okay, the p name contain the pattern name and f name contain the file name. So next is using a grep command I am going to search the pattern from the file name. So after that, after getting the pattern, so here I am displaying one message, selected record shown above. So it is just a message after getting the result. So after writing the shell script, so if you want to run the script, so you need to use the command sh file name dot the extension dot sh. Then you will get that first statement, that is enter the pattern to be searched. So here I have given a pattern director. So I want to search the pattern director from the file given in the terminal. Enter the file to be used. So here I am using the file name, that is employee.txt. So in this file I am going to search the pattern director. So next I will get the message searching for pattern director from the file employee.txt. Okay. So here the value director is stored in the variable p name, and the file name employee.txt is stored in the variable that is a f name. Okay, so using these just we are displaying the value. So after that, so you got the result. The director is present in the file employee.txt 2 times. So after getting the result, just I am displaying one message, that is selected records shown above. Okay, so now this is just one example how to write a shell script, basic example, how to print a message on the terminal, how to read the variable, and then how to read the file name, and then how to search the pattern by using the command grep. Next topic, command line arguments. How to read all the arguments from the command line from the terminal. Shell script also accepts arguments from the command line. So instead of the variables, all the shell script accept the arguments as a input from the command line. So you need to read all the arguments given. Command line arguments are the arguments given at the command prompt with the command or script to be executed. Okay, we are giving that arguments along with the command or along with the script, okay, which is to be executed later. Okay, so that is also called as a positional parameter. The command line arguments are also called as positional parameters. They can run non-interactively, and all the arguments to be used with the redirection and the pipelines. Okay, so you can use that all the arguments along with the redirection, that is standard files like a standard input, standard output, and the standard error you learnt so in the previous topic, and using a pipeline. The arguments are assigned to a special shell variables represented by $1, $2, $3, etc. So all the special shell variables are similar to a C command arguments like argv0, argv1. So in a C programming, if you want to read a command line arguments, so you are using argv0, argv1. Okay, so similar. So here in a shell script, you need to use the shell variable like a $1 for the first argument, $2 for the second argument, $3 for the third argument, so on. Okay, so now the table lists all the different shell parameters. Okay, so here, so this is the command, and all these are the arguments, argument 1 to argument 10. Okay, and these are the shell variables. Okay, so $0 is for the command, $1 is for the first argument, $2 is for the second argument, and so on. Okay. Yes, so now $0 represents the command, that is the first argument, that is the command name. $1 to $9 represents arguments 1 through 9. $10 and so on represents the arguments 10 and the further. So if there are more than 10 arguments. The next variable $hash represents the total number of arguments. So using this $hash variable, so you can get the total number of arguments given in the command line. And the $* represent all the arguments. So all the arguments are defined in that $. And $$ represents the PID of a running script. So if you are running one script, so if you want to know the process ID of that script, then so you can use that variable $$ to get the PID. Okay, so now these are the different cell parameters given in the command line. Next topic, exit and exit status of a command. So here you are using that exit to terminate a program or to terminate a shell script. So here there are two exit status are available in the Unix system. First one is exit 0, that is used when everything went fine. So if the shell script executes success, so if you get that answer based on the requirement, then we are using that exit 0. Exit 1 used when something went wrong, that is for the failure. If the program failed in executing, failed in giving a correct output. Let us discuss one example how to use that exit in a shell script. Okay, so now here there is one example, that is cat foo. I am trying to print that content from the file foo. Then I will get an error message, that is can't open the file name, that is foo. There is one error. Okay, so this returns that non-zero exit status. Okay, so now this cat command failed in opening the file name foo. Okay, then the command returns non-zero exit status. Okay, that status is stored in the variable, that is $? So all the exit status value will be stored in the variable $? So using that $? So you can print the exit status message. Next example, grep, the pattern director and the file name, that is employee.txt. Okay, I am trying to search the pattern from the file and then redirecting that to the under device file. Okay, so now the status is, so after executing the command like grep director and the file name, so once it executes this, the status will be stored in the device file, that is /dev/null. Okay, and then that status value will be stored in the $? And then here I am just printing that value. Okay, using a command echo $? So which gives that the exit status. So you got the status 0, so it means that the command executed successfully. Okay, so once you got the status as 0, then the command is executed successfully in searching the pattern director from the file name employee.txt. Okay, so this is about that exit and exit status of a command. So now let us demonstrate the concept you learned. So you learned variables, different types of variables, like a system defined variable and a user defined variable. Okay, if you want to know the system defined variables in Unix system, you need to run the command set. Okay, so once you run the command set, so you will get that all the system defined variables, okay, defined and implemented, maintained by the operating system. Okay, yes. So now here, these are all the system defined variables defined in the Unix system. Okay, like a user equal to Sudhir, user ID equal to 1000, username equal to Sudhir. Okay, session manager and shell equal to /bin/bash. Okay, so if you observe, all the system defined variables are defined in the form name equal to value. Okay, let us see here, cell, that is the name, equal to value. Okay, so these are all the system defined variables in a Unix system. So if you want to know, you have to run the set command. Okay, so now let us demonstrate on program how to write a cell program or cell script. Okay, so if you want to write, so you can use a editor. So you can use any editor like a VI or a gedit. Okay, so for the demonstration, I am using a gedit to write a cell program or cell scripting. Okay. Okay, so now, so you need to use the editor gedit and you have to give the program name and .sh. So all the cell script will be extended with the .sh extension. Okay. Yes. So now here I have already written the program. So in this program I am trying to execute so more than one command at a time. Okay. So till now what you have done? So you have executed each command one by one. Okay. So in a command line. Okay. But here, so in a script you are executing so more than one command. Okay. So in a cell scripting, the first statement is the shebang, which contain hash not/bin/sh. Okay, and here if you want to write a comment line, so you need to use the hash. So this is the comment line. And next, I am running the command date, echo date, today's date, and the calendar and the shell. I want to know the value for the shell. Okay, so here I am executing these three commands by cell script. So if you want to run the cell script, so you need to use that bash command and the program name .sh. So you got the result here, today's date, calendar and the shell. My shell is /bin/bash. The next program is to search a pattern from the file. So in a file there will be more information. So if you want to search a particular data or pattern from that file, so you can write a cell script. So till now what you have done, so using that grep command, so you are searching the pattern, grep, pattern and the file name. Okay, so here by writing a cell script, through a cell script, you are going to search the pattern from the file. So let us demonstrate that program. Editor, program name .sh. So here already the program is written. Okay, so the first statement is the shebang. So this is the first statement in the cell script. And next I am printing a message, enter the pattern to be searched and read p name. Okay, so using the command read, you are going to read the value for the p name and then enter the file to be used and again read f name, the variable, and next I am displaying one message searching for the pattern $f name from the file $. So here I am displaying a message searching for the pattern $p name from the file $f name. Okay, so p name will get the value pattern and f name will get the value, that is the file name. So after that I am executing the command grep. Okay, I am writing the command grep here to search the pattern grep and the pattern you entered in the command line and the file name entered in the command line. And then after that I am displaying one message, echo selected records. Okay, so this is the way to search the pattern. So here you need to use the grep command to search the pattern through shell script. Let us run the program. Bash, program name .sh. So here enter the pattern to be searched, director, enter the file to be used, employee.txt. So here in employee.txt, so all the information about the employee are stored. Okay, I want to search director. How many directors are available? So in the file employee.txt. Yes, I got the result. Searching for the pattern director from the file employee.txt. Okay, so here total there are 4 directors are available in the file, that is employee.txt. After that we are displaying a message, selected records. Okay, so this is a way to search the pattern from the file through shell program. So next concept we learned the command line arguments. Okay, so how to assign all the arguments given in the command line to all the parameters like $1, $2, $3. Okay, now let us demonstrate on program how to assign all the arguments to the positional parameters. Okay, gedit the file name .sh. Okay, so here in this program you are assigning all the arguments. Okay, the first statement is the shebang, second statement is echo program $0. So this $0 will get the program name entered in the command line. Next statement is the number of arguments $hash. Okay, so now $hash will get all the arguments given, the number of arguments given in the command line. The arguments are $star. If you want to know the arguments given in that command line, then you can use the $star. Okay, so after that, so I am writing a statement here, grep $1, $2. So grep is used to search the pattern. Okay, $1 is the pattern I want to search and $2 is the file name. Okay, so for these two parameters you will get the value from the command line. After that I am displaying the one message, job is done. Let us see how to assign arguments to those parameters. First I will run the program, bash s3.sh. So here we got the output, we got the program name by the $0 parameter, the number of arguments 0. The arguments are, so nothing is there, grep, no such a file or directory. Okay, so why you got the number of arguments 0 and the arguments are, okay, nothing is there? Because, so here I have not given any arguments in the command line, just I have run the program but I have not given the arguments. That's what you are getting, that the number of arguments are 0 and no such a file or directory. Okay, so now I will give the arguments now. Bash s3.sh, program name, director and the file name. So these two are the arguments, director and employee.txt. Okay, now let us run the command once again. Yes, so what you got here, program, name of the program, the number of arguments are 2. Yes, so here there are 2 arguments. The arguments are director and employee.txt. Okay, and then the grep command is executed and these 2 arguments are assigned to, director is assigned to $1 and employee.txt is assigned to $2, and then the grep command is executed and then got the result. So after that displayed the message, job is done. Okay, so this is the way to assign arguments to all the parameters like $1, $2. Okay, So next concept you learned about exit and exit status. Okay, so when any command executed, that command so returns a status. Okay, maybe failure or a success status. Okay, so if the command returns 0, that is a success. If it returns 1, that is for the failure. Okay, now I will run one command, cat foo. So the command failed to open the file foo and throws an error message, no such a file or directory. Okay, now the cat command returns a status. Okay, how to check the status? For that you need to run the command echo $question mark. So you got the status as a 1 because the command failed in opening a file. So 1 is for the failure. Next example, grep director employee.txt greater than symbol and the device file. So here, so in this command, the grep is going to search the pattern director from the file employee.txt. So once the command is executed, okay, then the command returns the status to the device file. Okay, to store the status into this device file, you are using that redirection symbol, greater than symbol. Okay, so the status is stored in the device file. Run the command and then check the status, echo $question mark. So the status you got 0. Say, so status you got 0. So it means that the grep command is executed successfully in searching the pattern directed from the file employee.txt. Okay, so this is the way to get the exit status. Okay, to summarize lecture 5, so here you learned different variables in shell scripting like system defined variables and user defined variables. You learned read command to take input from the user to make shell scripting so very interactive, and you learned assigning arguments to the positional parameters like $0, $1 and etc, and you learned the exit and the exit status of a command.